Okay, we are recording. Thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day per usual to get on this with me. I know that I've been totally MIA. Also, can we just peep Kiana's belly because you are so damn cute. It's getting so big. You look so good. I just can't wait for her to have her baby. But okay, all of that aside, I'm so happy that you guys are here and I have felt somewhat disconnected. So I want to know in the chat if you've been feeling the same way, if you're I want to know how you're feeling. Are you feeling defeated? Are you feeling excited? Okay, hang on, babe. Are you feeling disconnected? Are you feeling totally fine and good? Tell me all of the things in the chat. And I want to know one thing specifically that you and or your team is struggling with. That could be this month. That could be since you started this business, whatever it is. I want to know what you're struggling with because I'm going to cover that here in a little bit. But I wanted to start off with a little quote that I read this morning that just kind of resonated with me. It says, "You always pass failure on the way to success." And for me, I have failed and fallen so many times, both in this business, in my marriage, in parenting, literally all of the things. And I think that it's something that we just need to expect to happen and not be afraid of it, because failure doesn't mean you are a failure, right? It's not, what's the word? It's not subjective, it's objective, right? So
this means it's going to take one last try.
Yeah, Connor goes, it just means it's going to take one last try. So if you are feeling discouraged or you feel like you failed this month, just know that today is a new day and you're going to fail a million times again. You could fail a million times until you feel like you have succeeded. So you always pass failure on the way to success. Please be careful. I really don't want this to spill on my computer. Okay, can you come sit over here? Come sit down. Okay, so I'm going to read the chats really quick. Did you say hi? Say hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
I'm sweating, you guys, and Connor was just making fun of me because it's 60 degrees here in Texas and I'm no shirt, in sweats, I am way too hot. He's like, sis, you better buckle up because we're in for triple digit weather here soon. Okay, so I just read Mackenzie's little thing in the chat. I'm feeling disconnected from the team, but also really good. And honestly, you guys, I've been feeling the exact same way. Without doing these Zooms, I just feel I haven't seen your faces in so long. And we've talked about this a million times, but it is so easy to feel isolated and lonely in this business. I don't know if that's just me, but because we don't go to an office every day, if I don't personally text you guys every day or we don't have these Zooms, I'm what is everybody doing? Who needs me? Who needs, where's everybody at? So I totally feel you on that. Disconnected and just finding my groove again. Today I'm going to be talking about just some life things so that hopefully you guys can relate and just maybe feel better about where you're at. But I'm also going to go over some things that are working for me and have worked for me on getting back on track, because I was just talking to Rochelle about this. I've been kind of beating myself up the last couple days because this last month, honestly, you guys, I'm just going to be 100% truthful. I have totally been slacking off, both in my daily tasks, both in, reaching out to you guys and being a good leader. And it's no excuse. And I won't sit here and use my why as an excuse. But I've been moving across the country, and Oakland we just found out that she's probably lactose intolerant. So she literally yesterday, threw up 3 times, literally all over me, and we showered together and it was just a disaster, right? So I have a lot going on and I know I'm not the only one. Kiana's having a baby, Mackenzie is still, dealing with her job and dealing with her son and all the things. Kayla has you guys, she literally has to haul her own water to her property. I know I'm not the only one who has stuff going on, right? So I just want you to know that number 1, you're not alone. And number 2, Rochelle just totally gave me exactly what I needed to hear. And she voice messaged me and I just wanted to share it with you guys so that maybe, it helps you too. But she was give yourself a break. You took the couple days or week or two or whatever that you needed, and you slacked off, but that's fine. Like, there are going to be different phases in your life where you're not going to be able to give 100% in this business. And it is so unrealistic to uphold that expectation of yourself to be giving 100% of the time. Do not kick me. Got it? And it's not realistic for us to expect that of our team, right? And so if I'm acting like I need to be on point 100% of the time, then that sets that expectation and that par for you guys. And that's not okay. Like, Kiana, when you have a baby, you're not going to be able to give 100%. You're going to be in the hospital. You're going to be pushing a baby out of you, like, or, in the birthing center. Like, you're not going to be able to do that. So don't have that expectation of yourself, because you're just going to set yourself up for failure. And that goes for everybody, right? Like, and not even just set yourself up for failure, but like, you're going to beat yourself up about it. And there's no reason to do that. And that was just a really good eye opener for me, because this isn't going to be the first time, and isn't the first time that I've been in this place where I'm like, wow, I have slacked off. I had so many big goals going into the first of this month, and like, I just totally let myself down. But at the same time, am I being realistic about my expectations of myself? Like, it's good to have good and huge goals, but at the same time, like, not beating yourself up about it. So I just wanted to touch on that. And then honestly, you guys, sorry, I'm like looking at my notes. So when talking about all of this and recognizing that I need to give myself grace, and that you guys need to give yourself grace, I just want you to know that it is so important to like be open and be vulnerable with your team about that. Like, I'm always coming to you guys, and when we get back on this, or I reached out to a lot of you the other day and was like, look, I know I've been MIA. I'm so sorry. Please know that I'm still here and I'm still grinding, and it doesn't mean that I've like taken the foot off the gas in my business or with you guys, right? I just needed a sec. And I want you guys to feel like you can have that breathing room and that second too. Baby, please no, okay?
No,
I'll be done in a minute. You need to check your attitude. Give me 1 second, you guys. Okay, sorry, mom life.
Scratch your head, that helps.
Sure.
Come here, kid.
Oh my goodness.
Let's play. Come here, let's go play.
Okay.
Yeah, come here. Play that.
So, let me get back on track here. Okay, ultimately, I'm doing the best that I can, and I want you guys to know that I see you and that I know that you're doing the best that you can. And I just wanted to come together today and refocus. So I want to know in the chat, what is your new why? Like, my why is changing like literally every month, you guys, because life is just insane. So I want to know in the chat, what are you working for right now? Like, I know every single one of you is running for those bonuses, right? I'm not going to say what, because I don't want to put an income disclosure statement, but you guys are running for these bonuses. So what will that bonus do for you? What are you doing this for? Like, I think we get so caught up, and I was just talking to someone about this yesterday. We get so caught up in the fact that this is like monotonous, right? Or like, we have to do these daily tasks or whatever, but we get away from what that actually does for us. So yes, you need to send your messages every day. Yes, you need to post. Yes, you need to grow your network. And it can feel like, oh my gosh, oh my Lord. Can you hear me that? Jesus Christ.
Constantly. He hit me
This
like
is
5
so
times
obnoxious.
too.
He's just like throwing up all over us. Yeah, anyways, put in the chat like what it is that you're working towards. So when you're thinking about your daily tasks, or if you're feeling unmotivated, first of all, and I've shared this a million times, but I will never forget what Amber Erickson said to me when I was talking to her about motivation. She's like, you don't need motivation. You need self-discipline. You have to get your tasks done to get paid. You have to train your team to build and grow in your business, right? You have to teach people how to do this. You have to grow your mind. So, keeping your focus. So again, I'm going to read the chat really quick and see what you guys are working towards. Supporting my bills by myself, paying my bills on time in full. Y'all are making me want another baby. Yeah, well, you can take them, because this is making me never want Mackenzie. We were literally just talking last night, you guys, because Connor and I have been just like going back and forth on whether or not we want another baby. And literally this week we've been like, yeah, hell no. Like, I am not having another kid, like, ever. It's time to like either get snipped or we got to figure it out, because there's no way in hell I'm doing this again. So here's your birth control. You can have him. Oh my gosh. So cute. Yeah, just wait. You just wait. Okay, so for me, my new why is obviously my kids, but like, you know what? My kids would love me and be with us and be in love with our life if we lived literally on the street, right? And so for so long, I looked at my family as my why. And then I started to realize that I wasn't motivated, I wasn't inspired, right? And I'm like, well, because my family's gonna be there regardless. Like, family is for the end of time, regardless of how much money I'm making, right? But moving here has made me realize and really focused my why on what I want to do for my family. Like, for example, yesterday we were driving by like all these different water parks. There's like a million different water parks in Texas and they're huge. And I was like, I want to be able to go take my family to do that. But that is like a $500 day between tickets and food and, you know, booze or whatever. Like, that's an expensive trip. Or, you know, not that I want to take them to SeaWorld because I feel terrible like supporting that business, but like if we wanted to take them to SeaWorld or to the zoo or whatever it is, and those things are expensive, but I want to not only support my kids, but show them the life that I didn't have. My family never took me to Disneyland. Like, my grandparents had to take me to Disneyland because my parents couldn't. You know what I mean? I want to be able to travel with them. Like, hell, we just moved across the country, right? I want to show them that there's so much more out there than the little blip of the world that they're used to. And that it's so, like, I want to show them that you can make big moves in your life. You can have big dreams and actually accomplish them. And I made a post yesterday, like, I never would have thought, and if you would have told me a couple years ago that I would be here today in Texas with 2 kids, like, you know, house hunting and doing all the things, I would have probably laughed, because I never would have thought that this would even be my reality. And the only reason that this is possible is because of this business. If I had a 9-to-5 that tied me down to Oregon, it would have been a lot harder for us to leave. And so yesterday, you know, I was just really reflecting and thinking about this Zoom and what I was going to share with you guys. And just like, I just want you to know that, like, your family's going to be there regardless. And I'm not telling you that like your family isn't a good enough why, but I want you to pick something or to think about something that is just like, over hell or high water, I'm making this happen. Like, being a stay-at-home mom for Kiana, or Kayla being able to like get a bigger property for all of her dogs, or Mackenzie buying a house and having another kid with Michael, you know, like, these are things that, like, the memories are so much more important than your bills being paid. And I'm not telling you, like, of course, we're all working for our bills being paid. And I love that you guys are putting that in the chat, and that's a great goal, but it's so much bigger than that. And that's what we have to preach to our team, right? Because paying our bills is gonna have to happen. Like, we have to eat. We have to have a roof over our heads. We have to have water. So whether you're gonna work a 9-to-5 or work this business, that has to happen, right? But what about the memories that you want to make? What do you want your kids to remember? What kind of legacy are you building? And that, preaching that dream and that that's what we call like casting the vision, right, to your team and showing them those things. Okay, so talked about what is your why. Okay, the other thing that I wanted to talk about briefly, and I've been sharing a little bit of it on my story, and it's really hard for me, and like, it's so weird because it's not like that big of an issue necessarily, but I want to just talk about my drinking for a second. So for me, it's like playing Russian roulette on whether or not I'm going to have 3 beers or I'm going to close down the bar, right? Like, I just don't know. Unless I'm at home and I like literally have a set number of things, like, it's gonna get drank. And it's not because like of any other reason than I like how it makes me feel, and I don't like to drink water all the time. So like, whatever, right? But I'll fully admit that it has distracted me from my business. When I have a six pack and I'm sitting there watching my Netflix show, the last thing that I want to do is send messages. And I'm only sharing this with you guys because for me, it's alcohol, but for you, it's something else. What is it that is distracting you and taking away from your business? Can you hold him? Taking away from your business that I'll be done in just a sec, that you need to let go of. And like, I'm not 100% sure that I want to like go 100% sober. Like, I enjoy having a glass of wine and like whatever. I'm not like 100% sure on my journey yet, but I know for sure that alcohol is distracting me from my goals. So is that for you, like your Netflix shows? Is that for you just like being lazy and hanging out with your friends or whatever? And I'm not saying that those are bad things. Again, I like to have a drink every once in a while, and I'll probably continue to do that. I don't think that I should beat myself up about that. But you have to draw the line for things that are taking away from the life that you're wanting to build. So I want to know what that is for you. I want to know in the chat, what is something that you are letting take away from your business? And maybe it's unintentional, and maybe you haven't realized it until, I brought this up or whatever, but every single person has something that they are doing instead of working their business. And I know for a fact that I could be spending more time sending messages when we're in the car or whatever it is, and just becoming more intentional. And I'm going to talk about what's working for me in a second, but I want to know in the chat, what has been distracting you and what can you let go of to better your business? Okay, so while I'm waiting for you guys to put that in the chat, I want to talk about like 2 or 3 things that has been working really, really well for me. And this is what I do every time when I feel like I've gotten distracted. I love a KPI tracker, okay? Like literally love it. But my life is so chaotic that having a physical piece of paper in front of me doesn't work for me. For some people it does, and I love that. And I preach the KPI tracker to all my newbies and to all of you guys, because ultimately those are the tasks that we need to do every single day to be successful at this business, like point blank period, right? But I let it get away from me. So a lot of the times, because I've been working this business for so long, what? Do you need his binky? I think he's probably tired. Ready? What was I saying? Oh, because I've been working this business for so long, like working my daily tasks is somewhat second nature for me. And if it's not for you yet, it will eventually become that way. So I just know what I need to do every day and I just get it done. But that's when I'm like on fire, right? And I'm not distracting myself and whatever. So here's what I do to stay on track, or rather get back on track when I feel like I've been slacking. So I love to utilize my, just like bop him or take him outside for a sec. This is literally the last thing I'm going over. You guys, literally, if I had another kid, I would cry myself to sleep. Okay, so I love utilizing the Reminders app. So if you have an iPhone, this is just like a standard app on your phone. It's not something special, whatever. And I'll just go and I'll like make a new task. So for example, like this one says biz to do, right? So I'll open that up and I'll just put in everything that's on the KPI tracker in this like little list. So you can just click new reminder or whatever, and I'll put follow up, post, like interact, grow my network, message, all of those different things. And then when I'm done with that task, I just go mark it off. And then by the end of the day, when I go to lay down at night, I literally just pull this up and I'm like, okay, what haven't I done yet? Or if I have 5 seconds in the car or whatever, I just pull it up. Okay, I'm going to do one thing and check it off. And then I just do that and I build that list every day because, you know, every day it's somewhat different for me on like who I'm reaching out to, or, you know, if I'm doing a mass follow-up day instead of like getting haps up or whatever it is, right? So that works really, really well for me. If you're someone who likes schedules more, the app Time Block is a really good one. And so you can, if you like to like set out specific times that you're going to work your business for the day, like I know Jen Phillips and I were just talking about like when, you know, creating a schedule for her because she does better with schedules. So if you have a 9 to 5, like, okay, I'm going to work my business for an hour before I go to work. I'm going to work an hour on my lunch, and I'm going to work an hour before I go to bed at night. And that's, you know, what I'm going to be doing for my business every day. And then, you know, when you wake up the next day, this is when I have to work my business, and you schedule it in literally like it's a second job. And then also like calendar reminders are just huge for me. Like a lot of you and I have set up weekly check-ins. So if and I would highly suggest doing this with your team if you don't already, like, would it be helpful for me to just like check in with you once a week or whatever and see if you've been completing your KPI list or something that you're struggling with and that I can help you with or whatever. And so I'll set that in my reminders app as well. And then just, I have it set to do it weekly so that it'll ping me and it'll be like, check in with Kiana. And I'll be like, okay, perfect. You know, how's it going? How are you feeling? How is your life? Like, and I won't just check in with them about the business. And I think that that's so important too. Make sure that you guys are building relationships with your distributors. Like, these are real people. And I honestly feel like I've built friendships with you guys and like an actual relationship, and that will help create that lifelong distributor, and they'll feel more comfortable coming to you about things that they're struggling with in their business. The last thing that's been working really well for me, and I have been testing this out a little bit, and so I'm finally ready to like share it with you guys. And I've talked about it before, but not to the point where like I've been testing it, I guess. Like, I just knew that it worked, but I kind of like fell off of it. He's just sleepy. Is hashtags like on your posts and then on your stories. So for example, this post, this is like literally a perfect example. I made this post about our coffee, and this was like a result photo that I did or whatever. And I was like, does your coffee do this? I got 17 likes. Okay. Then the next day, I posted a photo and like an opportunity post, and I put hashtags in the comments of my post, and then I'll show you what I did with my stories in a second. But I put hashtags in the comments, and this one has 101 likes, okay? So what I did is I just went to like add post to story, and then I just typed, and I've been looking up like trending hashtags for that day. So like, what are the hottest hashtags for this week or whatever, and you can literally just like Google search it, and there's a million different websites that will pull up. And then I'll just post like 20 to 30 of them right here, and then I'll make it really small. And then if you click your picture, it will like hide. You can even move it around. It will hide the text. And then you can like do your story as normal. But if you have a public profile, this is huge, because it's not only taking your story that is tagged to your post and it's putting it like everywhere, but then also the hashtags in your comments are going to pull up anytime that someone searches that. So you're just maximizing the amount of people that are going to see your posts and your stories and maybe potentially start following you, rather than just like putting the post up and interacting like normal, which you should still be doing. But this is something that I've like truly tested, and I definitely know like ones that I don't do that with. I literally will have like maybe 50 likes, 26 likes on this one. And then others I'll have 100 plus, like at least. And then I'll usually get some more followers too. So that's been working really well. And I've been forcing myself to do that on every single post and every single time that I share that post to my story, because it's obviously, like very obviously, I've been trying it for a couple weeks now, like growing my interaction on my page. The other thing that I've been doing that I saw another influencer do, and I haven't played with it too much, but I've been trying to do it with like the posts that are blowing up, is if you go to your Instagram, and let's just say, for example, this post I want to add. So I'm going to click the little 3 dots on the top, and then you click copy link, and then you go to Pinterest and you go to your profile, to my profile, and then in the corner you click the little plus sign, pin, and then you click the world right here, and it's going to pull up a place for you to paste in a URL. So I paste my link that I just copied from Instagram, click go. It's going to pull up my Instagram post, and then I click save and save that as a pin on like my page or whatever. And she said that for the first like month that she was doing this, she didn't really notice anything. And then she did like a whole video and a snapshot of the first month, second month, third month. And by the third month, she had gained 10,000 followers. So I'm like, okay, hell, like if it's gonna work that good, I'm gonna do it and try it, right? So I don't know if you guys want to try that too, but it definitely seems to like be bringing more interaction to people's pages. So that's kind of what's been working well for me. Do you guys have any like questions or any other things that you've been struggling with? Does that help you? Of course, continuing to do TikToks and Reels. Now that I'm a little bit more settled in our Airbnb, I will be continuing. Obviously, we're getting back on our Zooms, but I'm also going to be doing our content creation days. So on Sunday, right before like Rochelle's call that we watched the family call together with, I'm going to be doing the content creation. So we can either take pictures together, or we can write posts, we can record TikToks or save ideas or whatever. So I'm going to be sharing with you, like, obviously what I'm doing that's working, but send this Zoom. I'm going to post it in the leadership chat here in a little bit when I add it to YouTube. And send this to your teams so that they can see like what we're doing on these leadership calls and let them know how they can get on these calls, right? So by being boxed for Ruby or above, anyone can be on this call. And then that way they're seeing the tips that I'm giving too. So I'm going to leave it at that because it is literally a shit show over here, but I love you guys so much and thank you for hopping on and I hope you have an amazing day.